Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of My Garage Roleplay. Alright, so I am just on my way to go and pick up the Lad Coupe from the paint booth. I am connected to the trailer back there. So yeah, we are gonna see if we can put this car back together again today. And then hopefully we can start working on our second gen Firebird. And I also have a little bit of news. So our Chevy Chevelle has actually sold for $45,000, my asking price. So I am very happy. I am ecstatic actually. So happy that I almost started spending money without thinking about it. So yeah, I just had to stop myself. But yeah, we are going to just pull over here and see if we can drive the newly painted Lad Coupe onto the trailer. Right, so it's about 8:30 in the morning, so it's still quite an early day. So yeah, we've got a long day ahead of us. So hopefully we can achieve a couple of things. Alright, that should do. Okay, so there she is. Should be dry and cured by now. So we need to actually have this thing out before 10 a.m. this morning. So yeah, luckily we got up early. So yes, we can see if we can get her fired up. Alright, there we go. Right on the button. Keep hearing these airplanes going over, but I can't ever see these airplanes going past. Yeah, I don't know what the weather's gonna do today. It looks like it's a little bit cloudy, so we might have a bit of rain. But we'll see. Alright, let's see if we can get this loaded up without any trouble. Might have to get a little bit of momentum going. Just get my door open. Alright, so there we go. I think that should do. Can always just push it forward a little bit if we need to. Alright, let's quickly lower it down before it slides off. Alright, so there we go. I'm just going to push it slightly forward. Just make sure that we have it on the trailer nicely. Okay, so my idea is to pretty much assemble the car with all the parts that we have, and then I'll go through it and see what parts we're going to need to fix it up properly, because as I've mentioned before, we do want to turn this into a little bit of a race car. So I was actually thinking of installing some race seats in this car and maybe doing like a roll cage on the inside. So that'll be actually quite neat, and then maybe even get some stickers applied for racing stripes and stuff like that. But we'll see. I mean, still early days at the moment. I actually just want to get this thing in a condition where it can be driven again. And we're gonna have to do a little bit of work to the engine as well, but we'll get to that. Luckily I do have a bit of touch-up paint, because I see I missed the engine block a little bit here and there, but that's fine. We do have some paint at the shop. So yeah, let's see if we can get this thing back to the shop safely. Alright, so there we are. We are safely back at our shop, and yeah, I think let's see if we can get our barn door open. So we do have the second gen Firebird up on the lift now. So my idea is to start working on the suspension, taking the worn parts off and going through everything, and also checking what parts we have to replace on it, because we do have a little bit of bits from our donor car, and then obviously we are going to have to order some parts as well. So luckily now we have got a little bit of a budget to spend on this, which we will get a little bit into later on. Alright, so let's first of all see if we can get this car offloaded from the trailer, and I'm just gonna see if I can reach the handbrake. Here we go. Right, that door nearly knocked me over the head, but that's fine, we've got it. Okay, so let's see if we can pull her into the shop over here. Let me open this barn door over here. There we go. Alright, so I think that's going to be fine. Alright, let's just catch this car before it runs away. See, this little car's got a mind of its own today. Alright, so let's reverse back in here, and then we are going to start by putting some parts on this car. Alright, that should do. So yeah, we've got pretty much all of these parts over here to assemble, and some lights and taillights. I have actually replaced the shock absorber, and I do have a full set of bulbs for this, for all the taillights, but we are going to have to order a new taillight, as you can see. And yeah, we've got a couple of small bits and pieces. So alright, so I'm going to start off with this, and then yeah, I'll put you guys in a little bit of a time lapse so you can see the process as I'm doing this. Alright, so there we have it. That is pretty much all of the parts assembled back onto the little car. I'm not going to bother with worn parts like these interior bits as well as the broken taillight and such. So I did realize this window mechanism is broken, so we will order a new one of these as well and get that installed. But I think that is a huge improvement to what the little car looked like before. We might have to order a new grill as well, because this one is a little bit kinked on this side. So I'll see which ones which grills are available for this. So yeah, and then obviously we will start having a look maybe off camera at what parts are worn. I'll get those ordered up, and yeah, hopefully we can install everything. Alright, but for now I'm going to focus on the Firebird over there. So I think let me carry my toolbox over to that table. So my idea is first of all to put on the body panel, so I'm going to have to lower this down again. Yeah, we're going to take off this hood, which is actually the wrong hood for the car. And I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with this. Maybe I'll try and sell this again on eBay, seeing as these parts are very rare. Although I'm not too sure if this hood is really that rare, but we'll see. I will take some pictures and put it up on eBay and see what happens. You never know, maybe even Steve will be interested in it. Alright, so moment of truth. Does our hood fit? Alright, so that bolt is tight, and let's tighten this one. Alright, so there we have it. That looks much better. I think that is definitely, yeah, that suits the car way better. So in terms of wheels and tires, I was thinking, because we already have this one turbocast rim. Now, I know this isn't the right era car for those type of rims, but I actually think it'll look very neat on this car, considering it's an older model, and then we put a newer model's wheels on it. So that'll actually be quite amazing. So let's see if we can get this rear bumper sorted out as well. Got two bolts here at the back by the looks of it, so let's see if we can get these taken off. Alright, so this bumper is of a newer generation, well, same generation but a newer model Firebird, so we definitely do not want this on our car anymore. Might have to try and salvage those bumper stickers at some point, because this car was actually a company vehicle at some point. Alright, so let's see how this is going to come together. Alright, so there we have it. So that duct tape wasn't really holding this bumper on anymore. And we've got two bolts kind of in a difficult position over here, but yes, we've got it. Alright, so that basically concludes the rear bumper and the hood. So now we can try and fit this brand new panel, which I put back on the sofa. I actually slept on the sofa, yes, and I just laid that panel on the back seat of the car while I was sleeping. So yeah, hopefully this panel will fit nicely. Let me turn this thing around just to make sure we put it the right way in. And I'm not too sure if I have to weld this in place. It doesn't look like it, so that's pretty good. Alright, so yeah, need a little bit of a lick of paint and that should be covered. It actually looks like somebody was playing target practice on this hood at some point, well, this trunk at some point. But yeah, I wouldn't know the history of this car. All that I can tell you, it's had a pretty hard life. Right, so moving on, let's see if we can get this thing lifted up in the air and see what parts we have and what parts we need to order. Oh, that's a little too high. Just come down a smidge like that. And where did I put my wrench again? Ah, I found it. Alright, so we are going to start with the front tires and remove these. And pretty much I'm going to do these corners one at a time. And then that way we can pretty much, yeah, get things sorted. One corner at a time. So first of all, our front left brake caliper looks good. It's got some decent brake pads in as well. So that is quite interesting. It's almost as if somebody has worked on this car before in this corner. Alright, so this upper arm definitely needs to come out. So that is a worn part, so let me just put them down there on a pile. Okay, so we've got a wheel hub that looks okay. We've got a brake rotor that looks decent, so that we can put on the table. Alright, so let's continue having a look at this corner. We've got a very bad, what is this called again? Hub carrier, in my opinion. Yeah, that looks very bad, so we need to order a new one of those. Or see if we can find one on our shelf over there. I don't remember. I recall I did see one. That's probably, oh, that's for the passenger side, so that's not going to work. Alright, so our shock absorber here looks okay. We've got a decent steering box, decent steering link. That tie rod looks fine, but this one on the other hand, that's a little bit crusty, so we'll get a new one of these. Definitely have to replace that. Alright, so looking at the rest of the suspension components, we've got a good shock, we've got a good lower control arm. So the strut rod looks good. cross member looks fine. So this is where we have got a couple of parts, is for this corner, so we'll see what we need. Alright, so let's get this wheel rim taken off. So it's actually strange how we ended up with two of these rims. I think the one was off the, from Uncle Richie's shop, and the other one came actually with the car. So yeah, that's strange how we got a matching pair of those. Alright, so this brake caliper also looks pretty good, and it's got some decent brake pads in it, so somebody was taking care of this car at some point by the looks of it. Alright, so we've got another decent brake rotor for this side as well, so that is pretty much our brakes on the front end in good condition. But this is where the fun comes in now. We do have, luckily, a new, well, probably not a new part for this, but we do have a good part for this, if I can call it that. So this is the front right hub carrier, so we can actually just replace it, but we also need to do the lower control arm, which I saw is a bit worn. There it is down there. Okay, so let's bring this over here, and I will just bolt it to the tie rod here and to the upper arm. The upper arm looks good, but we need to replace this lower control arm, so I'm going to unbolt this strut rod quickly. Just be sure to grab that and just set that down on the table for a moment. We will have a look at this quickly, and then I think we've got a replacement part for this. So I think parts that I am replacing this episode, I'll just pop it down here so that I know. Alright, so we are looking for the front right. This is the one. This has got a good strut rod on it as well. Right, so we are going to mount it on this side. And pretty much just like that, this corner is basically sorted. We just gotta install our brake hub again. And I see our shock absorber also fell out. It was probably not tightened at the top. Right, so let's get that zipped down again. Okay, so our brake caliper front right, we can actually mount this again. So that is good to go. Alright, let me just get in here. Zip that down as well. Alright, so I think this corner is actually ready for a wheel, so I can probably put this wheel back for now. Alright, so that corner is pretty much sorted. See, we've got a good brake line, at least. Main line is fine. Engine, we haven't even touched that yet, and I will get into that maybe a little bit later on. Definitely not in this episode. But yeah, for the front left corner, we are going to need to get some parts. I don't know if we've got the upper arm, so let's just quickly have a look. There we go. We've got one of these, and it looks like we've got a tie rod as well, which is good. Alright, so we can mount this part. Let me just see where this bolt is. Oh, there it is. Okay. We do not have the hub carrier actually, because I believe that was mounted on the other Firebird. But we do have a tie rod as well, so yeah, luckily we don't have to go and order this. Alright, let's see if we can just get it mounted to this side over there. Okay, so we can scratch this off the list. We don't need that. And we also do not need this. So that is good. Alright, so our budget so far, only we need a front hub carrier for this corner. And obviously a set of wheels and tires. And then the engine, hopefully we will be able to rebuild that with a very minimum cost. We'll have to order a new exhaust definitely, because this one is toast. But transmission, we've got a new-ish one over there that came out of the Chevelle, that's in good condition. Our drive shaft looks fine. Alright, so we can mount this corner. And then we can Right, so this rear axle will have to replace definitely. This is very rusty, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with one corner and take these wheels off, and then we'll take the rest of the suspension parts off here just to see what is good and what is worn. Alright, so once again our brake caliper looks good. Yeah, we need some pads, but I think we've got some pads we can replace in this. So this will probably not go back on in this episode because we need to replace the whole rear axle. So what we'll do is we'll strip all of these parts off. Let me just put the wrench down here for now. Remind me it is there, please, so I might forget. Alright, so yeah, moving on, we've got a decent brake rotor on this corner as well. So obviously somebody was replaced the brakes recently. So let's just set that down on the table. This is actually now a spare part we can put back on the shelf over here. Alright, so there's my wrench. Where the heck did my wrench go? Oh, it's over here. Okay, of course, there we go. Alright, so this wheel hub seems to be in good condition. So that is actually looking not too bad for us in terms of parts we need to order for this car. I might actually be able to find a used one, but on something like this, a part you can't reach every day and easily reach the part, I would rather go and buy new ones, because then at least we know it is sorted for a while. Right, so this is a rear shock absorber. I think we do have one of these. If I'm not mistaken, we might have a set. We've got two fronts and one rear. Okay, so we do need one rear shock absorber as well, by the looks of it. So I can go ahead and mount this one at the top. So I will bolt that down, but I'm not going to bolt this down. Okay, so we do need to take off this drive shaft over here so that we can drop the axle. Alright, so obviously we need another shock absorber for this side. So this one we will put by the parts we need to buy, and then that way we will know we need one. However, we do not need one of these, so that is done as well. Okay, so where was I? Alright, this corner over here. So let's get our wheel taken off here. It's a very interesting rim design. Okay, so on this corner we need a brake caliper by the looks of it. But that's not too shabby. I mean, yeah, 1 out of 4, that's actually very good. So we can pretty much just take off this brake hose and leave it on the table here, and then this will add to the list of parts we need to buy. A rear left brake caliper. So that isn't looking too bad. We've got a good hub and brake rotor on this side as well. So once again, let's just put our wrench down here. Let's grab the screwdriver again. Come over here. We are going to take off our brake rotor, which looks decent. So yeah, luckily we don't have to replace that brake rotor, and we can pop the screwdriver back in there for now. Alright, so last but not least, let's see if we can finally get this rear axle dropped. Alright, so this is a good part as well. And put this on the table over there by the other one. Here we go. Alright, so now let's see if we can get this axle taken out. We've got one bolt over there, there, and there. And we've got 4 bolts on here as well. And then, there we go. Alright, so we definitely need a axle and a differential, as well as a new handbrake cable. So I'm not even going to bother to take that off. I will just take this whole assembly and put it here. So add that to my list of parts to order for hopefully the next episode, because then we can carry on putting this thing back together and might even start tearing the engine apart. So let me have a look at the time. So alright, so I think, yeah, we can probably start stripping out the engine. Alright, but I got it, there we go. So alright, so let's just see if we can get this thing out of here, and I will just put it down over there. And just like that, so that is good. Alright, so next up will be to try and remove this engine. And while I'm down here, let me actually remove the gearbox. Alright, there's our drive shaft. Okay, so we are going to mount this gearbox shortly. I don't want to put it on my sofa, might be dirty. Alright, so can I reach the bolts from here? It's going to be a bit hard, but I might get it. So that starter motor is gone. Now let's go down. Alright, that should do. Alright, so just want to see if we can get that wire disconnected there, because then this transmission can pretty much be taken out. There we go. Alright, so let's lift the car up, and then hopefully the transmission will stay behind. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so this transmission is still good. We'll keep it around. I mean, yeah, I don't mind the automatic gearbox in a good car at some point. Man, this car's gonna use a lot of body work by the looks of it. Alright, but yeah, that is fine. A lot of Bondo, that's what I meant to say. Alright, so we can mount our 4-speed, and I think I also have pedals that came from the other second gen. So we will need to replace those pedals, because obviously they won't work on a manual transmission. We need the clutch pedal. And then our drive shaft can go back in place over here. So that is pretty much the transmission swapped out. So let's have a look on our engine bay. So this motor should actually come out fairly easy. We can tighten that wire. What's our battery cables like? Alright, so that's not too bad. And we've got a brand new battery. I remember I bought a battery for this a couple of episodes ago actually. Right, so that can come out, and then that can come out, and then I believe our earth cable back here, and then obviously our very crusty fuel line. Okay, so I've done this a million times. Let's see what I have missed. So we've got that taken off. Alright, let's see down here. Alright, so probably this. I remember now, yes, on the i6 inline 6, the starter motor bolt, you need to take it out for the engine to come out. Alright, so here we've got our engine that was running at some point, but as I mentioned, it's not running anymore. I did try and start the car again, but it didn't want to fire up. So we know this engine works, so we need to dig into this a little bit and see if we can transfer most of the parts over to our new engine block, which we have over here, a 225 cubic inch, and also we've got a brand new cylinder head for that, and we do have a nice new chrome valve cover for it, so that is not bad. But yes, this engine bay is looking kind of empty. Let me just check for other parts on the shelf we need to fit to the car. I think we can probably fit the wiper motor, because that is something that this car does not have. And we also do not have a brake booster on this car, which I think we might have over here. There we go. So this can actually go on the car. Alright, so yeah, that donor car is helping us quite a bit here. So once we have the engine built and the suspension fixed, then this car should be ready for its bodywork and surgery on the body. So yeah, pretty much hopefully we can get rid of all of the duct tape and see if we can get this thing either. I think we're going to do this properly. We're going to send this one into Uncle Richard's shop again, so that they can prepare it for us and prime it and paint it. And then in the meantime, I will start looking for some interior parts for this, see if I can find anything, because I would like to get a proper headliner and everything installed. And yeah, we'll see. I might actually have, yeah, I'll see. I'm not too sure. I've got a lot of ideas actually running around in my head for this car. So yeah, I'm not too sure if there's supposed to be something down here, a grill with some spotlights maybe. I'm not too sure if that is something that I'm gonna find for this car. So maybe drop a comment down below if that is something that I am missing, or maybe, yeah, if you've got the part for me, we can try and arrange payment and I can, yeah, get it shipped over to my garage over here. So yeah, well, I think that is going to be pretty much a wrap for this episode. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate every view and every like. And also remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I will appreciate it very much. And I still need to clean up outside here as well. But yeah, until the next time, cheerio.